So here we have our startup for this week. I believe it's week 8. I think the startup actually says week number 6. But next week is midterm, so this would be week number 8. It says find the sum of the measures of the angles of the figure. In order to do that, we need to know our formula. And our formula would be n minus 2 times 180, because we're looking for the sum of the measures of the angles. So what is n? N equals the number of sides. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So it's 5 minus 2 times 180, or 3 times 180, and we get the sum to be 540. 540 would give us the sum of the interior angles for this particular polygon. Number 2, a road sign is in the shape of a regular pentagon. What is the measure of each angle on the sign? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Now, if it's a regular pentagon, we need to identify how many sides are in a regular pentagon. Now, we can, for this particular problem, we can refer back to number 1, because number 1 is a regular pentagon. If we did not have the same shape there, we would need to know that there are 5 sides in a pentagon. We would start out with 5 minus 2 times 180. Then we would divide it by the number of sides, because it wants to know the measure of each angle given. So we would have 540 divided by 5 gives us 108. Each angle is 108 degrees for this road sign that is a regular pentagon. So now let's go to number 3. Number 3 says to find the value of x. The diagram is not to scale. First of all, in order to be able to find x, I've got to know what all of these different angles add up to be. So I need to know the sum of these interior angles, because I can set them equal, or I can write it out as 148 plus 3x plus 10 plus x plus 112 plus 90 degrees. That's what the box means. But I need to know what to set it equal to. In order to do that, I have to use that interior angles theorem again, that formula of n minus 2 times 180. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what? 5 sides again. So that means 540. These 5 angles will equal 540 degrees. So now we simply do our order of operation for solving an equation. We set it up and solve. So I have 148 plus 10 plus 112 plus 90. So that gives us 360. And I have 3x and x, which is 4x. So 4x plus 360 equals 540. So that gives us 4x. I'm going to take this across. So 540 minus 360 is 180. Divide by 4. So x is equal to 45. And that's all we were asked to do, is solve for x. That's why it's important for us to see the diagram is not scale, because we know we look at that and that is not a 45-degree angle. We understand that. That's the reason why you don't go by what you see, but by what you know. Let's go to number 4. It says W, X, Y, Z is a parallelogram. Name an angle congruent to angle X, Y. So if we're looking at angle X, Y, Z, that's the angle we're looking at. Well, if I know that it's a parallelogram, opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So the angle that would be congruent would be this angle here. So now we have to just pick it out of our choices. XWY X, W, Y, that's not it. W, I can say that's not it because W is the first letter and the W has to be the middle letter. So X, W, Z. If we said Z, W, Y, that would not be it as well. So the answer would be C in this case. Think of your properties for parallelograms. Opposite angles congruent, opposite sides parallel, and so forth. Number 5, let's move on. And here's some information that we'll be talking with this week. Find the area for a parallelogram. The area for a parallelogram equals base times height. So simply 3.7 times 7.6. We'd plug that into our calculator. And when we plug that into our calculator, we get a number of 2812. Centimeters is our units, so it's going to be squared centimeters. Do not forget to put our units on our solution. It's not just 28.12 units, it's squared units, and it's centimeters in this case. And then number 6, it's a triangle. Area equals base times height divided by 2. Or remember, if you like the formula, 1/2 base times height. I don't really like that one. So it's 10 times 3 over 2. So that's 30 divided by 2, which is 15 squared yards. Would be our solution there. And that is our startup for this week. I hope that you will be ready